Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So, there was a recent airstrike that killed upwards of 200 civilians. Guys, before I do this segment, I want to say something. It's a short aside. These videos aren't going to get many views. They're not going to be all that popular. They're probably going to get right many dislikes, and they will be demonetized like right off the bat. I do them because it's the only thing I can think of to dissent, to get across how much and how fervently I am against this foreign policy where we're just willfully murdering people. I don't necessarily want to compound the travesty of these people's deaths, essentially by my government, in my name, by the cowardice that's implied by looking away from it. Meaning, I don't want to make myself feel better by the actions that have taken place. I actually want to regard it. It's the least I can do. It's not much. It's not necessarily going to change the policy. But at the very least, I want to have the integrity to condemn the action, to condemn the behavior. And I would hope that there are other people out there, irregardless of party, who looks at a particular thing and says, okay, you're right. They shouldn't do that. I like Trump, but this is too much. I like Obama, but this was too much. That's what I'm hoping to do. And look, you can have a go at me about it. Whatever. There's a comment box at the bottom. Engage my argument. Engage my argument. If you're going to make a point, engage my argument. And beyond engaging my argument, I kind of making this point that I actually do want people to look at this particular video. Not necessarily just to hear me talk, but only to, at the very least, acknowledge that these people are being injured in our name. Looking away should not be an option if they're going to be killed in our name. That's the only point I'm getting at. That being said, so in 2008, we had a new president. He ran on the platform, for the most part, of hope and change. He was going to be a sharp departure from the criminal regime of Bush and Cheney. They had murdered up to 1 million Iraqis that preceded him. So, for the most part, the international community breathed a sigh of relief. And they wanted to bring the point home. And so they gave this new president that hadn't done squat a Nobel Peace Prize. The president took this Nobel Peace Prize and took 2 wars and expanded them to 8. Bombing one country after another. Now, conservatives have brought a lot of arguments to bear at Obama. Some of them are absolute bunk and just plainly ridiculous. But there are some arguments against Obama that conservatives make that are absolutely and completely true. And it is absolutely annoying when liberals lie about it, or apologize, or try to make excuses for it. Be objective, call it what it is, and be honest. You can't cross the political divide unless you're functioning with a certain level of integrity. So, Obama was functioning illegally in that office, in multiple ways. The main way that I want to talk about, for the most part, is the interactions or the invasions in the other countries. Obama had no legal justification at all to be in any of those countries. You could barely make a case for Iraq at that point. I mean, mind you, we invaded a country that had nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with 9/11, murdered upwards of 1 million people. Obama, in this case, however, expanded that to Syria, Yemen, Somalia, destroyed Libya with the help of a coalition mob of sorts, one country after the next. No legal justification. The point I'm making to you is, if Congress didn't give them authority to do it, where did Obama get the authority to go into these countries? What fig leaf of a justification is he using There damn sure is not a moral justification. There's not even logical justification. Because the things that he's doing is not making us safer. The kill list continues to get longer. If he's doing something that's extra constitutional, that is, by definition, illegal. So in the pursuit of an illegal objective, Obama was murdering thousands of civilians. 90% of those bombs that we drop hit innocent people. Understand what I'm getting across. A president of the United States was murdering civilians in his capacity of functioning illegally. Liberals lie about this. They would condemn George Bush and they would give Obama a pass. They should not give Obama a pass. He's a mass murderer at this point. And this doesn't even get into the mass surveillance. I mean, hey, screw the Fourth Amendment. Who needs that? He was functioning again illegally in that capacity also. The judge essentially struck down what they were doing, what the NSA was doing. Edward Snowden got across essentially what was taking place. And he made this argument, for the most part, that it was illegal. The justification that Obama was using for it did not mandate or did not allow Obama to use it in that particular way. The judge said, for the most part, the constitutional lawyer's interpretation of this law is absurd. She didn't say it in that way, but that's essentially what it boiled down to. He was functioning legally in that capacity also. This has nothing to do with him attacking the press, abusing espionage laws in order to hide and cover up waste, fraud, and abuse. The NDAA, the ability to lock up American citizens. The President of the United States asserted that he, and he alone, had some authority to murder civilians in other countries. Who gave him this authority? Why is it okay for him to do it? Why is it okay to do it? And look, this includes 3 Americans, 2 of which were children. So, understand the point that I'm making here. That's illegal. That's a war crime. Obama should be brought up on charges ever much as Bush should be brought up on charges. Now, if we're being consistent though, and we're being honest, if we can look at the previous administration and we can say, okay, yeah, he's right. Obama had no legal justification to be in those countries. And even though he had no legal justification, he was murdering a large number of civilians. And he understood that he was murdering a large number of civilians. And that in no way stopped him from murdering more civilians. Then you have to hold Trump, the new brand, by the same thing. That's the only way you can be honest. The integrity of it says, well, wait a minute, if Obama was doing that, he had no legal justification. Then Donald Trump also has no legal justification to do these things. That's just fair. More than 200 civilians were killed in a U.S. airstrike in Iraq. The U.S. coalition in Iraq is investigating whether it was responsible for an airstrike in West Mosul neighborhood of Anguat Shada, March 17th. The local civil defense officials said killed at least 200. It will be the highest civilian death toll from an airstrike since the battle against the militant group Islamic State began more than 2 years ago, and among the deadliest incidents in modern warfare. And look, mind you, this is on the heels of other quote-unquote incidents. The incident is the latest of several fatal attacks in which dozens of civilians are alleged to have been killed at the hands of U.S. forces. On Wednesday, humanitarian groups said at least 30 civilians were killed when an airstrike hit a school in Syria, south of Raqqa. Less than a week earlier, the U.S. was accused of bombing a mosque in Aleppo province, killing more than 40. There's another angle to this also. The fact that Trump is doing this, meaning he's killing a large number of civilians, he's inquired into removing the few restraints of murdering civilians that currently exist or that Obama put in. In addition to one more thing. Admission of guilt. Donald Trump is trying to move drone strike powers into the CIA. The CIA works in the shadows. The only reason you would ever do something like that is because you're trying to hide the number of people you are murdering, and you do not want it held up to civilian scrutiny or oversight. That's the only reason. He's trying to hide what he's doing. He knows that his death toll is much higher. And put it in context. I made the point before. Many of the people, 90% in many of these missions were innocent. That was under Obama. Trump has increased the drone strikes by like 400 and some percent. In 2016 alone, Obama dropped like 26,000 bombs. So I'm trying to give you this issue of scale and perspective. Once this goes under the CIA, this information vanishes. It goes away. Out of sight, out of mind, which is the point. So certainly, if a president is functioning outside of the bounds of the Constitution, in pursuit of functioning outside of the bounds of the Constitution, he's murdering a large number of civilians. And being aware that he is murdering a large number of civilians, take steps to hide the fact that he's murdering a large number of civilians. How is that not illegal? How is that not evidence of a war crime? Why isn't Trump being dragged into The Hague? For that matter, why isn't Obama? Why isn't Bush? All of these things are illegal. If you're going to make this case that Donald Trump is this new thing, why is his war policy pretty much the same as the previous president's war policy? Somebody asked me a decent question. She said, do I think a progressive will be able to keep the country safe like Trump? Guys, you're being scammed. I'm sorry. Donald Trump is not keeping the country safe, whether you realize it or not. No justice, no peace. So what I mean is, you can never keep yourself safe. Safety is an illusion. The only thing that protects people, that actually protects people, is figuring out the pressures that are in a particular society and resolving those pressures. The fact is, what Trump is doing is murdering a large number of civilians. What Obama was doing was murdering a large number of civilians. If you kill somebody's mom, brother, sister, cousin, teacher, whatever that relationship is, you are creating 5 more terrorists for every one that you killed. And understand me, these people are innocent. So the reason why they're against you is not a religious reason. For the most part, those people are freedom fighters. The information, the real terrorists, the people who are the extremists, they are for the most part going to use the propaganda of the things that you are doing in order to bring those people on their side, essentially filling their ranks. The point I'm making to you is you're creating your own monsters. You're creating your own monsters. The thing that you're scared of, the thing that you think Donald Trump is protecting you from, is the very thing that is being created by the actions of Donald Trump. And it's not just Trump, it's all of the previous administrations. They are creating the problem. They're not solving the problem. Think about it. You would never be in a situation where you were going to kill enough people to end this process. If you're murdering 90% civilians, you're filling ranks just by virtue of your actions. And what's wow, the people who are against you for actually a right reason. Not only have you lost the moral argument, you justify the fact that these terrorists are able to pull these people in to fight against you. Even if you stop 80% of the attacks against you or your interests, you realize at some point, just based on law of averages, one of those attacks are going to get through. Safety is an illusion. Safety is an illusion. Your way of making things safe is to figure out, all right, these are the injustices, these are the pressures, these are the things in this particular society that are problematic. In our particular case, we are intruding in those regions of the world. We are dropping bombs in 8 Muslim countries. Obama was literally paying terrorist organizations to undermine governments. So understand what I'm saying here. This is the capacity that the United States government has been functioning. This is the capacity that the US government is functioning right now. Do you honestly believe that those things Those things that's creating such resentment, that's creating such hatred, that's creating such opposition against us and our interests. Do you honestly believe that creating that much resentment is somehow keeping us safe? You're being had. You're being had. This is more to do with the financial incentive than anything else. The United States spends about $1 trillion on military. We sell weapons. It's one of our major exports. Those things are jobs. War has a ridiculous profit motive in a sense. For the most part, it's the only enterprise that you're going to engage in where you're intentionally blowing stuff up, destroying stuff, killing people, using services of destruction, whether that's kill squads, whether that's munitions, whatever it is. You're essentially using capital just to blow stuff up and destroy stuff. The stuff that you blow up needs to be replaced, meaning that right off the bat you have an incentive structure for the market solution. Oh, you need more of this? You need more of this? Now, if you're a company that's selling war equipment, you can lobby those particular senators to buy your particular product. You can lobby certain soldiers to sell particular equipment. You have a financial incentive to keep those things going, to keep those engagements going. So you want them to drop those bombs because you want to replace those bombs. That's additional money in your pocket. Every terrorist that they create, for the most part, is another bomb, is another bullet that they can sell. The point I'm making to you is there's a fiscal motive in the things that they're doing. It has nothing to do with your safety. It is the opposite of safety. They're just trying to accrue profit. I mean, don't take my word for it. Think about the profit motive yourself in this. I mean, you have somebody who, if you're spending $1 trillion on military, think of the number of jobs that you're creating in order to build those bombs and equipment and weapons. If you're a senator in a particular district, are you really going to scale down the military budget that's going to get rid of particular jobs in your particular area of the world, your sphere of influence? You have a vested interest in keeping those particular jobs in line, which means you have a vested interest in continuing to spend that much money on the military, which means the country has a vested interest in murdering people abroad. It's created a fiscal incentive to behave this way. Our foreign policy has nothing to do with safety. Our foreign policy has everything to do with making somebody rich. That's the point I'm getting at. You're being had. You're being had. Stop identifying with these parties. They're taking advantage of you. And I know there's a vested interest in not necessarily wanting to believe you're being taken advantage of, but you are being taken advantage of. You are being taken advantage of. Why is murder all of a sudden okay when you leave the boundaries of the United States? At which point did that become okay? Why are you supporting a guy who thinks that that's okay? Even if you believe that on the domestic front, Trump is the best thing since sliced bread. Even if you believe that for Obama. Certainly, if they don't have legal justification to do a particular thing, the thing that they're doing is illegal. And if it's dealing with people, and those people are being murdered and broken and decapitated, shouldn't that particular president get held accountable for the things that they're doing? That's my point. This has nothing to do with party. This has nothing to do with Trump. This has to do with the model that we're functioning under. These people should be held accountable for the things that they're doing in other countries. No. I don't care what a president says. I don't care what Congress says. That person has no legal, moral, or logical justification to go into another country and murder a large number of people. You need to make that argument to me. You need to explain to me why Donald Trump is justified in doing this. You need to explain to me why Obama is justified in doing this. I'll wait for that explanation. I don't plan on seeing it in the comment box. The most that I'll probably get is, I dislike this video. Explain your dislike. Explain your dislike. Make your case. Bring me over to your side of thinking. I'm giving you my argument. My argument is they're functioning in a legal capacity and they're making things worse purely for fiscal incentive. What's yours? Don't be a hack. Look at what these guys are doing with skepticism. They are not functioning in your capacity. And just because you believe that this party is on your side, just because Trump has said certain things, you're being scammed. All of you. All of you. Every last one of you. Democrats and Republicans alike. You're being scammed. That's my point. Alright guys,